So, when did you start screenwriting? Like, when did you think about this? I want to do it, even before professionally.
I mean, I always joke that I came out of the womb wanting to tell stories, and I spent my entire childhood writing, filling notebooks with silly little stories, but never showed them to anyone. I didn't take my first screenwriting class until I was in college at UNC Chapel Hill, and that's where I really learned the format and the medium. And then I didn't really start showing anyone my screenwriting until I was working with Ivan Reitman at the Montecito Picture Company. I did not show Ivan my screenwriting, but it wasn't until I was working in development and actually was reading a ton of scripts where I went, oh, wait, I think I can do this. And I took a UCLA writing course. Their extension program's great. Wrote a script about the making of Singing in the Rain. It got me repped. It blew up at one of the big agencies, and it was a finalist in the Nickel Fellowship last year with the Academy. So.
I was going to ask about that. So that must have been a surreal experience. But going back to what you said about the development, so reading good, and I know from because I did similar script reading, a lot of them are terrible, even that come to that. So did you think each time, from even the good and bad, you were learning something new?
For sure, and I think something I talk about too in development is it's not just you read, go good script, bad script. You have to go report back to your team and really analyze, like, well, this is why I like the script and why I think we should ask Sony for X amount of million of dollars to make it, and this is why I don't think we should. This is what I find didn't work in the script. So I think it was also, you're reading the best and the worst and everything in between, but then you're also thinking critically about it. And then that, I think, by osmosis, because I don't think I was doing it consciously, bled into my screenwriting, and I think ultimately made it better.
So for you, could you do so many other things? Moderating, hours and months of preps, talking to me, because it always takes months of preps. No, but
We last spoke at Comic-Con, and I left San Diego, and I've been prepping ever since.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Because a lot of screenwriting students I talk to don't fully understand the concept. You have to write a script to sell a script, even before. So what is your process doing? If you have so much other stuff going on, how do you force yourself to carve out time for the creative part?
I think it's been a big shift of, like, you have to keep that time sacred, and I think and also something I've been doing this year is I put it first. I think for the longest time I was like, I have to do this, this, and this, like all like the real life stuff, and then it's writing. But if I want writing to be my real life stuff and be my career and be how I make money and hopefully experience success in this world, it has to come first. So I also think there's part of that, like knowing when your ideal writing time is. Like, I cannot write at night. I cannot write at night. I don't go to sleep because my brain takes forever to like calm down. So, last year I was working a strike survival job, and I had a writing partner in the UK, and I would wake up at 6 a.m. and I would write before work. And then I would go into work and like have my soul sucked out of me, and then and then go home and sleep and do it all again. But I knew, like, we could not do it at night. And so for me, it's knowing yourself as a writer and knowing your own little biorhythms and stuff like that, and honoring that, and then also giving yourself the permission in a lot of ways to put it first if this is truly what you want to do.
And are you a big sequencing and putting on the note cards, mapping it out, or just kind of like finding it, while you're writing?
I don't know who does that. I can do that for like a short story, for like 1,000-word flash fiction prose. I'm like, let's just have a vibe. But no, for a screenplay, I love Blake Snyder in Save the Cat. He always says it because it's in the book, and it's written, and there it is. He says that screenplays are Swiss clocks of emotion. So I always outline. I think certain times I don't always need to go into cards. I think it's good to go into like the note cards, especially if you're collaborating with someone, so everyone knows what they're looking at. But I can't do anything without an outline. I need an outline. And then for features, I tend to use Blake Snyder's 15-beat sheet. And that's kind of my holy grail. And that's also a good way to know if you have an idea for a movie. I'm like, can I get 15 beats out of this? Like, do I know what the third act is? Do I know what the lowest low is, what the midpoint would be, and all that fun stuff? And yeah, so that's kind of my process. Yeah, I have to. But it's also that funny thing too, where you have your outline, you plan it, then you also have to leave room for the discoveries that come inevitably during the writing process.
Actually, I like to write. I usually write the last 10 pages of Act 3 first. I need to know my ending.
Who are you?
I literally write the end, and usually it doesn't change, but my Act 1 is awful. Like, it takes me years to get an Act 1 right, but I usually I like to start with an end scene, or I won't write.
I want to like study you. Like that's insane. I see. I'm the opposite, where I usually, for me, it's like I get a couple. Usually, the first things that come to me are the fun and games bit, like that first half of Act 2, like the fun stuff, and then it's like, okay, now I have to put all the scaffolding under that, and then I'll get to Act 3, and hopefully I'll have had enough scaffolding that it'll reveal itself. Like, how do I end this?